The first thing Daniel Carter noticed was that his boss was crying. Not loudly, not in a way that anyone else in the hotel ballroom would notice. She was standing near the tall glass windows, holding an untouched glass of champagne, while the company's yearly dinner continued behind her. Music played. People laughed. Employees posed for photographs with their partners, but Claire Bennett, the woman everyone feared at the office, looked completely alone. Daniel almost walked away. He had enough problems of his own. His 8-year-old daughter, Lily, was waiting at home with a babysitter he could barely afford. His 6-year-old son, Noah, had been coughing for 3 days, and Daniel still had not bought the new inhaler the doctor had recommended. His rent was due in 5 days. His car needed repairs, and earlier that afternoon, Claire had called him into her office and told him his department might face layoffs. Daniel worked as a maintenance supervisor for Bennett Property Group. It was not a glamorous job, but it paid the bills and gave him enough flexibility to raise his children alone. His wife, Rachel, had died 3 years earlier after a sudden illness. Since then, every morning had started before sunrise. Daniel made breakfast, packed lunches, found missing shoes, checked homework, drove the children to school, worked all day, picked them up, cooked dinner, cleaned the apartment, and tried to smile even. When he was exhausted, he did not have time for office parties. But attendance at the yearly dinner was expected, especially when rumors of layoffs were spreading. Daniel checked the time on his phone. 10:42 p.m. The babysitter had already sent him 2 messages. Noah's cough was worse. Daniel slipped his phone into his pocket and turned toward the exit. Then he heard glass break. Claire's champagne glass had fallen from her hand. She reached for the window ledge, but her knees weakened. Daniel moved quickly and caught her before she hit the floor. "Ms. Bennett?" Claire looked up at him, her eyes unfocused. "Daniel?" "Yes, are you all right?" She gave a small laugh. "That depends." Several employees glanced toward them. Daniel could already imagine the gossip. Claire Bennett never lost control. She was known for her sharp voice, perfect suits, and cold decisions. She remembered every missed deadline and every mistake. Now she could barely stand. "I'll call you a taxi." Daniel said. "No, you shouldn't drive." I said. "No, taxi." "Then I'll call someone from your family." Her expression changed. "There is no one." Daniel paused. Claire pulled away from him and tried to walk, but she nearly fell again. He caught her arm. "You need to sit down. I need to leave." Daniel looked around the ballroom. Most people were busy drinking, laughing, or pretending not to watch. He could have asked another manager to handle it. He could have walked away, but he thought of Rachel. She had once told him that a person's real character appeared when helping someone brought no reward. Daniel sighed. "Where do you live?" Claire stared at him. "You're taking me home. I'm making sure you get there safely." She gave him an unreadable look. Then she whispered her address. Daniel helped her collect her coat and handbag outside. Cold rain covered the parking lot. Claire stumbled beside him as they walked toward his old blue sedan. She stopped when she saw it. "This is your car." Daniel opened the passenger door. "It starts most days." For the first time that evening, Claire smiled. It was not the controlled smile she used at meetings. It was small and almost childlike. Daniel helped her into the seat and fastened her seatbelt before starting the engine. He called the babysitter. "Emily, I'm sorry. I'll be a little late." "How late?" the teenager asked. "I'm not sure." "How's Noah?" "He's sleeping, but he coughed a lot." "Keep the humidifier on. I'll be there as soon as I can." He ended the call and noticed Claire watching him. "You have children?" she asked too. "Your wife is home with them?" Daniel's hand tightened around the steering wheel. "My wife passed away." Claire looked down. "I'm sorry. It was 3 years ago." She leaned her head against the window. "Years is not long." Daniel looked at her, surprised by the softness in her voice. "No," he said, "it isn't." They drove through the rain in silence. Claire lived in a modern building near the river. The lobby was made of marble and glass, with a doorman sitting behind a polished desk. When Daniel parked outside, Claire did not move. "We're here," he said. She opened her eyes. "I don't want to go upstairs. You can't stay in my car." She laughed weakly. "Why not?" "Because my heater only works when the car is moving." Daniel stepped out, walked around, and opened her door. Claire tried to stand, but could not keep her balance. He supported her by the arm and led her into the building. The doorman looked surprised. "Miss Bennett, she's not feeling well," Daniel said. "Could you help me get her upstairs?" The doorman hesitated. "My shift ends in 2 minutes." Daniel stared at him. "She can barely walk." The man looked uncomfortable. "I'm not allowed to leave the desk." Daniel wanted to argue, but Claire was leaning heavily against him. "What floor?" he asked. 21. Inside the elevator. Claire closed her eyes. "You're going to hate me tomorrow," she said. "Why?" "Because everyone does eventually." Daniel did not answer. Her apartment door opened with a keycard from her purse. The apartment was large, clean, and almost empty. There were expensive paintings on the walls, but no family photographs. No children's drawings. No shoes by the door. No sound except the rain against the windows. Daniel guided her toward the sofa. Claire sat down and covered her face with both hands. "I ruined everything." She whispered, "What did you ruin?" She did not answer. Daniel went to the kitchen and found a glass of water when he returned. Claire was trying to remove one of her shoes. He placed the water on the table. "Drink this." She took the glass with shaking hands. Then she looked at him. "Why are you being kind to me?" Daniel shrugged. "You needed help. I might fire you next week. I know I might fire half your department. I know that too. And you still brought me home." Daniel looked toward the rain-covered windows. "My children are waiting for me. I don't have time to judge you tonight." Claire lowered her eyes. Daniel noticed a bottle of pills on the table. He picked it up and read the label. They were prescription anxiety pills. The bottle was almost full. He placed it back carefully. "You should call a doctor if you feel sick." "I'm not sick." "You drank too much. I wanted to stop thinking." The phone rang. It was Emily. He answered immediately. "Daniel, Noah is awake. He says his chest hurts." Daniel stood. "I'm coming now." He turned toward Claire. "Can you stay on the sofa? Do you need me to call someone?" Claire shook her head. "I'll be fine." Daniel picked up her handbag from the floor and placed it beside her. He found a blanket on a nearby chair and covered her shoulders. "I'm leaving the water here. Lock the door after me." As he turned away, Claire caught his wrist. "Please don't tell anyone." Daniel looked at her. "What happened here is your business." Her grip loosened. He left the apartment and drove home as quickly as the rain allowed. When Daniel entered his apartment, Lily was sitting beside Noah on the sofa. Noah's face was pale. Daniel knelt in front of him. "Hey buddy, talk to me. My chest feels tight." Daniel checked his breathing. It was not severe enough for an ambulance, but it was getting worse. He thanked Emily, paid her with nearly all the cash in his wallet, and drove the children to a late-night clinic. The doctor examined Noah and prescribed a new inhaler at the pharmacy. Daniel's card was declined. He tried again. Declined. Lily stood beside him, watching quietly. "How much is it?" Daniel asked. $74. The pharmacist said. Daniel looked at his bank balance. $30-1. He called the clinic and asked whether Noah could safely wait until morning. The nurse said yes, as long as Daniel watched him closely and brought him back if his breathing worsened. Daniel carried the tired boy back to the car. Lily climbed into the back seat and whispered, "Dad, is Noah going to be okay?" Daniel forced a smile. "Yes, I'll take care of him." But as he drove home, he wondered how many more promises he could keep. The next morning, Daniel arrived at work after less than 2 hours of sleep. At 9:15, his phone rang. It was Claire. Her voice was quiet and tense. "Daniel, come to my office." When he entered, Claire was standing near the window. She looked pale, but completely sober. The door closed behind him. She turned around. "Did anything happen between us last night?" Daniel froze. "What?" Claire's eyes filled with fear. "I don't remember everything. I woke up on my sofa. You brought me home." Daniel felt his stomach tighten. "No, nothing happened." "Are you certain?" "Completely." She studied his face. "I was dressed." "Yes." "Did I say anything?" "You said you wanted to stop thinking." Claire crossed her arms. "Did you touch me?" Daniel's expression hardened. "I helped you walk. I put a blanket over you. That's all." She looked relieved, but Daniel felt insulted. "You asked me to keep it private," he continued. "I did. I left because my son was sick." Claire stepped closer. "Not accusing you, which sounds like you are. I'm trying to understand." Daniel opened the door. "Now you understand." Before he could leave, Claire said, "Wait." Daniel stopped. She held a folder in her hand. "The final layoff list is being decided today." Daniel looked at the folder. "Am I on it?" Claire did not answer, and that silence told him everything. Daniel spent the rest of the morning repairing a broken heating unit on the 12th floor. His hands moved toward, but his mind stayed in Claire's office. He had taken her home safely. He had protected her privacy, and now he might lose the job that kept food on his children's table at lunchtime. His co-worker Marcus found him sitting alone near the loading area. "You look terrible," Marcus said. "Noah was sick last night." Again, Daniel nodded. Marcus handed him a sandwich. "Take it. My wife packed too much." "I'm fine. Take it before I change my mind." Daniel accepted it, but Marcus sat beside him. "They're announcing layoffs at 4. I heard you think we're safe." Daniel looked down at the sandwich. "No." Marcus lowered his voice. "I heard Claire left the party with someone." Daniel's eyes lifted. "People are talking. They always talk." "What are they saying?" "That she could barely walk. Someone from maintenance drove her home." Daniel's jaw tightened. Marcus stared at him. "It was you." Daniel stood. "I have work." Daniel, "Wait, there's nothing to discuss." By 3 o'clock, the rumor had reached most of the building. Some employees laughed when Daniel passed. Others looked at him with curiosity. He heard one man whisper, "Maybe that's how he plans to keep his job." Daniel turned around. The man immediately looked away. At 3:45, Claire's assistant asked Daniel to come upstairs. Inside the conference room, Claire sat with 2 senior executives and a human resources manager. There was one empty chair. "Sit down, Mr. Carter," the HR manager said. Daniel sat. Claire avoided his eyes. The HR manager folded his hands. "A concern has been raised regarding your behavior after last night's company event." Daniel stared at him. What concern? We understand you transported Miss Bennet to her private residence. Yes, were you asked to do so? She was unable to stand safely. That does not answer my question. No, she did not formally ask me. Claire finally looked up. I gave him my address. The HR manager continued. Did you enter Miss Bennet's apartment? Yes. For how long? Maybe 10 minutes. Were you alone? Yes. Daniel looked at Claire. You know what happened? Claire's face showed shame, but she stayed silent. The HR manager cleared his throat. We are not suggesting misconduct occurred. However, because of the power difference between you and Miss Bennet, and because alcohol was involved, the company must review the matter. Daniel could not believe what he was hearing. Helped her. The executive beside Claire spoke. You should have called emergency services or security. The doorman refused to leave his desk. She said she did not want an ambulance. You still entered her home to make sure she didn't fall. The room became silent. Daniel turned to Claire. Tell them. Claire's lips parted, but no words came out. Daniel stood. I have 2 children at home. My son needed medicine last night, but instead of going directly to him, I helped someone who needed me. Now I'm sitting here like I committed a crime. The HR manager raised his hand. Please remain calm. I am calm. Daniel looked at Claire. One last time. I expected more from you. He left the room before anyone could stop him. At 4 o'clock, the layoffs were announced. 7 employees were let go. Daniel was not one of them, but he did not feel relieved. His name had been removed from the list that morning. He discovered this when Marcus showed him a photograph of the earlier version of the document. Daniel's name had been there. Now it was gone. You think she saved your job? Marcus asked. Daniel stared at the photograph. I don't know. Maybe she feels guilty. That doesn't make this better. When Daniel reached home, Lily was helping Noah with his homework. She had made toast for dinner. Daniel stood in the doorway and felt a wave of guilt. You made dinner. Lily smiled proudly. Noah wasn't hungry, so I made toast. Daniel walked over and kissed the top of her head. You shouldn't have to do that. It's okay, Dad. Noah looked up. Did you get my inhaler? Daniel froze. He had forgotten the pharmacy would close in 20 minutes. I'm going now. He checked his bank account. His salary had not yet arrived. Daniel opened a kitchen drawer and took out Rachel's old gold necklace. It was the only valuable thing he had left from her. Lily saw it. That was Mom's. No. What are you doing with it? Daniel placed it in his pocket. I'm borrowing some money against it. Her face changed. You said we would keep it forever. Daniel knelt in front of her. I also promised to take care of you and Noah, but Mom gave it to you and she would want Noah too. Breathe. Lily looked away, trying not to cry. Daniel drove to a pawn shop and received $120 for the necklace. He bought the inhaler and groceries when he returned home. Lily was asleep on the sofa. Noah was curled beside her. Daniel stood in the dark apartment, holding the pharmacy bag, and felt completely defeated. The next morning, Claire was waiting near the maintenance office. Employees watched as she approached Daniel. I need to speak with you. Not here. They walked into an empty storage room. Claire closed the door. I should have defended you yesterday. Yes, I was afraid. So was I. Claire looked confused. Afraid of what? Losing my job, losing my home, not being able to care for my children. She lowered her head. My lawyer told me to say as little as possible. The lawyer wasn't the one being questioned. I know. Daniel folded his arms. Did you remove my name from the layoff list? Yes. Why? Because you are one of the best employees we have. Was that the reason before or after I took you home? Claire did not answer quickly enough. Daniel shook his head. Don't want special treatment. You have children, so do other people who were fired. Claire flinched. I had to choose, and you chose the man who protected you. I chose someone who deserved to stay. Daniel stepped toward the door. I don't know whether I kept my job because of my work or because you feel guilty. That means I can't trust you. Claire's voice broke. Don't trust myself either. Daniel stopped. She took a slow breath. The night of the dinner was the anniversary of my younger brother's death. Daniel turned around. He worked for this company. My father pushed him harder than anyone. He made one mistake on a project, and my father humiliated him in front of the entire board. Claire's hands began to shake. My brother struggled with depression. A week later, he took his own life. Daniel said nothing. Claire wiped her eyes. When my father died, I inherited this company. I promised myself I would never become like him. She gave a bitter laugh, but I did. Daniel's anger softened, but it did not disappear. Pain explains things, he said. It doesn't excuse them, I know. Claire looked at him. The layoffs were ordered because the company lost 2 major contracts. I fought to reduce the number, but I still signed the names. Then stand behind your choices. I'm trying. Daniel opened the door. Try harder. That evening, Daniel received a call from Noah's school. Noah had experienced breathing problems during gym class and was taken to the hospital. Daniel left work immediately at the hospital. He found Lily sitting outside the treatment room with the teacher. She ran into his arms. Dad, he couldn't breathe. Daniel held her tightly. The doctors are helping him. A nurse approached. Mr. Carter, Noah is stable, but we need to keep him overnight. Daniel nodded. Can I see him? In a few minutes, he sat beside Lily. She looked exhausted. Then she whispered, Dad, is this because we didn't get the inhaler sooner? Daniel felt the words like a knife. No, but maybe if we had more money, this is not your fault. Is it yours? Daniel could not answer. Lily began to cry. I don't want Noah to die like Mom. Daniel pulled her into his chest. He's not going to die. He said Mom would get better too. Daniel closed his eyes. For 3 years, he had tried to be strong enough for both children. Now he had no answer. His phone rang. It was Claire. He rejected the call a minute later. She called again. He turned off the phone. When the doctor finally allowed Daniel into the room, Noah looked tiny beneath the hospital blanket. A clear oxygen tube rested under his nose. Daniel sat beside him and held his hand. Noah opened his eyes. Dad, I'm here. Are you mad at me? Daniel's heart broke. Why would I be mad? Because I keep getting sick. Daniel leaned closer. Listen to me. You never have to apologize for needing help. Noah's eyes filled with tears. Will you stay all night? What about work? You are more important than work. Noah squeezed his hand. Daniel stayed beside him until he fell asleep near midnight. Daniel stepped into the hallway and turned on his phone. There were 6 missed calls from Claire. One message read, I heard about Noah. Please tell me which hospital. Daniel did not reply. Then he noticed another message from Marcus. The company says you left without permission. HR wants a meeting tomorrow morning. Daniel looked through the glass at his sleeping son. He had spent years sacrificing everything to keep his job. Now the job was asking him to choose between being an employee and being a father. Daniel deleted the message. Then he sat beside Noah's bed and made his decision. Daniel did not attend the meeting the next morning. Instead, he wrote a resignation letter on his phone while sitting beside Noah's hospital bed. He kept it simple. He thanked the company for the years of employment. He explained that he could no longer work in a place where doing the right thing had turned into an investigation and caring for his child was treated as misconduct. Then he sent it to Human Resources and copied Claire. At 8:20 a.m., Claire arrived at the hospital. She was wearing the same dark coat from the company dinner, but there was no makeup on her face. She looked tired and nervous. Daniel met her in the hallway. You shouldn't be here. I came to check on Noah. He's stable, I'm glad. Claire held out a paper bag. Inside were 2 breakfast sandwiches, fruit, and coffee. I didn't know what you or Lily would eat. Daniel did not take it. I resigned. I saw the email. I meant every word. Claire nodded. I know. Then why are you here? Because I finally decided to do what I should have done from the beginning. She handed him a folder. Daniel opened it. Inside was a written statement. Claire had described the entire evening. She admitted she had been drunk, unable to walk safely, and emotionally distressed. She stated clearly that Daniel had acted respectfully, helped her into the apartment, brought her water, placed a blanket over her, and left after receiving a call about his sick son. She also admitted that she had failed to defend him during the internal meeting because she was protecting herself. The bottom was her signature. I sent this to Human Resources, the board, and every manager involved, she said. Daniel looked at her. Why now? Because you were right. Pain is not an excuse. She took a breath. I also cancelled the disciplinary meeting. No action will be taken against you. I already resigned. I know. Claire looked through the window toward Noah's room. Don't expect you to come back. Daniel closed the folder. Then what do you expect? Nothing. Her voice trembled. For the first time in years, I'm trying to help someone without expecting control in return. Lily came out of the room. She looked at Claire. Are you Dad's boss? Claire crouched slightly. I was. Did you fire him? No, my dad doesn't lie. Claire glanced at Daniel. I know. Lily crossed her arms. He sold Mom's necklace because Noah needed medicine. Daniel felt embarrassed. Lily. But Claire's expression changed. What necklace? It doesn't matter, Daniel said. It matters to her. Lily explained everything. Claire listened quietly when Lily finished. Claire stood. I'll be back. Daniel stepped in front of her. Do not pay my bills. I wasn't going to. What are you doing? Something I should have done a long time ago. Claire left before he could stop. Her. Noah was discharged that afternoon. Doctor adjusted his medication and explained that his condition could be managed with regular care. Daniel took the children home. He did not know what would happen next. He had enough money for 1 more month of rent. After that, he had no plan. 2 days later, Claire came to the apartment. Daniel opened the door, but did not invite her in. She held a small box. What is that? She gave it to him. Inside was Rachel's necklace. Daniel stared at it. How did you find it? Lily remembered the name of the pawn shop. You bought it back? Yes. I told you not to pay my bills. This is not a bill. It cost money. You used your last valuable memory to save your son. I used money I won't miss to return it. Daniel looked at the necklace. I can't accept this. Claire looked past him and saw Lily, standing in the hallway. It belongs to your family. Lily ran forward and hugged Claire. Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. He did not know what to say. Finally, he stepped aside. Come in. The apartment was small and messy. A pile of laundry sat on one chair. Children's drawings covered the refrigerator. Claire looked around slowly. It feels warm. Here the heater is broken in the bedroom. She smiled. Didn't mean the temperature. Daniel made coffee while the children played in the living room. Claire sat at the kitchen table. I spoke to the board, she said. Daniel waited, admitted that the layoffs were handled badly. We reviewed the company budget and found enough executive expenses to restore 4 positions. What kind of expenses? Private car services, travel upgrades, hotel suites, my yearly bonus. Daniel raised an eyebrow. You gave up your bonus. I don't need it. Most rich people say that, and still keep it. I used to. Claire placed a letter on the table. This is not an offer to return to your old job. Daniel opened it. The company wanted him to lead a new employee safety and facilities team. The position included better pay, flexible hours, and family health insurance. Daniel read it twice. Why me? Because you understand responsibility better than most people in that building. And because I took you home. No, Claire met his eyes. Because when no one was watching, you chose to protect someone who had the power to hurt you. Then, when everyone was watching, you refused to trade your dignity for your job. Daniel, place the letter down. I need time. Take it, and I want the role to have real authority. Will I choose my team? Within budget. Marcus stays. Claire smiled. I expected that. Daniel accepted the position 1 week later. He did not do it because he trusted Claire completely. Trust was not repaired by one apology or one kind act. He returned because the new role gave him stability, health insurance, and a chance to improve the workplace for others. Claire kept her promises. She began therapy. She stopped drinking. She created a policy that allowed employees paid emergency leave for family medical situations. She also invited laid-off workers to apply for restored roles before hiring anyone new. Months passed. Noah's health improved. Lily wore Rachel's necklace on special days, though it was still too long for her. Daniel and Claire slowly became friends. She sometimes joined the family for dinner. At first, the children found it strange that their father's boss did not know how to make grilled cheese without burning it, but Claire kept trying. One rainy evening, almost a year after the company dinner, Daniel stood beside the kitchen window while Claire helped Noah with a school project. Lily was drawing at the table. The apartment was noisy, warm, and full of life. Claire walked over to Daniel. Can I ask you something? That depends. She smiled. That morning, when I asked whether anything happened between us, you looked like you hated me. I didn't hate you. You were angry. I thought you might use that night against me. Daniel looked toward the children. I know. Claire lowered her voice. I had forgotten that good people exist. Daniel studied her face. And now I know they exist. She paused. But I also know good people get tired. Daniel smiled slightly. That is true. Claire looked at him. Thank you for taking me home. Daniel nodded. Double quotes. Thank you for finally standing up. The relationship did not turn into a perfect romance overnight. There were no dramatic promises. No sudden wedding. Just 2 people learning to trust each other carefully. Claire learned that kindness was not weakness. Daniel learned that accepting help did not make him less of a father. And the children learned that families can sometimes grow in unexpected ways.